Welcome to another episode of Last Week's Comics Today. This is the earliest that I've ever recorded one of these. It's Thursday afternoon, so I just bought all this yesterday. And I have no idea what my pick of the week is, so I will have to figure that out by the end of the video. But we're going to start with Enfield Gang Massacre. This was on my maybe list. I keep a list of what I expect is coming out, which is, I guess, increasingly inaccurate given Diamond and Lunar and other distributors, and who knows what's going on anymore. But I keep a list of what I think is coming out, and then a maybe list of stuff to check out in the store. And this was on the rack. This was the staff pick, Berg's staff pick for the week. So I threw this in my pile as well, and it's good. It's weird at the same time because it doesn't. All right, I'm going to talk about the art. Art is quite nice. Coloring. The paper, I should mention. It's like a thicker newsprint. It's kind of texturized. I don't know. See it there. So it's interesting. I mean, certainly not the gloss that the thicker stock that a lot of comics have now. So it's there's a certain feel to it. People get shot, by the way. The story's good. It, however, feels like it was written for a graphic novel that then got divided up into issues because the end is abrupt. I think it was intended to be a cliffhanger ending, and I'm going to show it. Oops. I'm going to show it, so if you don't want to see, just skip ahead. I don't think it's a spoiler or anything. But this is the ending. This is, so this guy is a lawman. You can kind of see a star there. And he's coming to arrest the main character. But the problem is we've only seen him for one panel in the last 4 pages. And it just doesn't have any kind of resonance. I feel like this should have, I don't know. The scene should have been framed differently, I'm going to say. So that at least we could see who he's talking to at the time. We could see a reaction. This deserves a reaction shot, is what I'm saying. So maybe there's like an insert panel down here, something. It deserves something. And instead we just get this, and I'm like, well, it doesn't. Okay. I have not read this, but based on, where is it? Yes, this headline, I'm thinking it's based on, I'm going to say loosely based on a true story. Again, based on this headline. I have no idea what the story is of the Enfield Gang. But I will be adding this to my pull list because I am curious to see where it's going. And there's a lot of craft that went into the creation of the comic. I just don't think it's quite, I don't know. It's a couple of guys to look out for future projects, and I think they're going to improve with age. It's just, it's close. It's not quite where I think it needs to be, but it's good. Next up is Barnstormers issue 2. I was a big fan of the first issue. This has less art of fancy dresses and a lot more close-ups of faces. The story is still good, and we get more flying. It's just, I think, the art that I especially appreciated in the first issue, see, we get a bunch of faces. The art that I appreciated in the first issue is not as present in the second issue as it was in the first, I'm going to say. We still get some good stuff, and the story is still compelling, but, I don't know. There's just something about it. It looks a little bit muddier, looks a little more unfinished. I'm going to show you one thing in particular here. So this, she's going to hit this guy in the back of the head with a rock. And like, I don't know, what is all of this? Is this supposed to imply motion? Because it's not really pulling it on. I have no idea what this is. I mean, this sort of makes sense if motion is what it's supposed to be implying, but then I would expect this black line to be broken up some and sky not to be showing through right there. And then does he have a toupee flying off his head? I don't know what's happening there. either. We still got some creepiness. At least the creepiness gets explained in the story this time, and it's great. But then there's also this, and I'm like, what is all of that? This doesn't make any sense. This is unfinished. Did she forget to delete a layer? I don't know what that is. So, I don't know. It's not as good as the first issue, is what I'm saying. It's still compelling. I want to see where it goes. I think it's concluding next issue. It says to be concluded next issue. I think this was originally 6 digital issues, and now it's being put out as 3 physical copies. But it does say there to be concluded. So, one more issue to go. Damn Them All, issue 7, and I honestly can't remember if issue 5 was the end of the first arc, and then we got issue 6. It seems like there's been a gap, is what I'm saying. Like, was 5 or 6 the end of the arc? Because it feels like it has been more than a month since Damn Them All, issue 6. And this also feels like the beginning of a new arc. I can't keep track of things anymore. So I'm probably, I don't think there's any breasts in this. There was, I just flipped through if it was on camera or not. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. So I'll just stop flipping through. It's Charlie Adlard, and we get Simon Spurrier. So it's heavily accented English, just extremely accented English. All this stuff here. There's a flashback for the character who then suddenly appears in the present. Maybe. It's still good. It's still sort of Constantine-ish. Bunch of crazy demon and now angel stuff going on, and the magicians are assholes, but also so are the angels, and the demons are okay. I don't know. I believe the trade for the first arc is coming out for you tomorrow. For me, it's next week. But if you're interested, grab the trade. It's good. Comic Books Kill, issue 1. I thought I'd read a preview for this, and then I read the whole issue, and none of this seems familiar. So I think I was interested in just the synopsis that must have been in previews. The art does seem kind of familiar, although I'm unfamiliar with Silva. So maybe I've seen something from him before, maybe not. The art is fine. It fits things perfectly. We do get this guy here. It's, for me, the story that I have a problem with. I will not be continuing. Oh, I didn't notice there's a phantom there in the background. I didn't get attached to the story. It's 1930s. It's about comic book publishing. It is, the main character seems to have sort of modern sensibilities, but he's 90 years in the past, which is always weird. So I don't. It's okay. It's okay. I don't know. Just read Public Domain by Zdarsky. I'm going to say that instead. So this is, I don't know, there's better stuff than this. This is, again, I think the only Night Terrors that I'm getting. So Night Terrors Shazam issue 2. This is the end of the 2-issue miniseries. And it kind of makes me interested. It does have this as an ending. So I'm kind of curious to see where Mary's story goes. Hopefully I see more of it in the main Shazam title once that comes back next month. Has to be. But we get some cool art. There's some intriguing stuff going on as far as family and dreams, and it's a solid 2-issue thing. It just doesn't wrap up because it's a tie-in to an event, and you get this going on, which is pretty cool. I mean, the art's nice. It just doesn't really end, which is unfortunate. So I don't know. I'm glad this is the only one that I read. Although I hear specifically from Wilson that Joker's good, Harley Quinn was good, Zatanna is good. So he's reading far more of these than I am, but I'm fine with it. I just want this to be over. We'll get back to the main titles, put this behind us. But I believe that there are some good miniseries out there. I don't know that I'm going to read any of those. If there's a sale coming up, maybe I'll grab some then. But I'm putting this behind me. Guardians of the Galaxy issue 5. I think I've mentioned this before. I have this idea that every team book, by the end of the first arc, has a member join, a member leave, a member die, or a member betray the team. This is the team die. The whole team dies. I don't know if that's a spoiler because I think they've already spoiled it in the solicits, and I want to say next issue is Hulkling and Wiccan on the cover as like the new Guardians of the Galaxy, so I'm curious to see what happens with them. However, there's like a giant asterisk on this, both because it's comic books and nobody ever really dies or stays dead. The only people that do are Martha Wayne and Uncle Ben. So I'm sure that the team, the cast, the core cast that we know will be back in some capacity relatively soon. Well, maybe not relatively soon, but soon. These people. Especially because they have this whole Mantis one-page this. And, like, they set it up, and then she just dies, and I'm like, no, you have to go more into that. But, I don't know. I don't know where it's going, because nothing really... The story that was set up still hasn't wrapped up. I think the annual is going to reference things, because it's set in the past, I believe. So, I don't know. It's... I'm curious. I remain curious, but it's also not as good as previous Guardians. It's fine. Ultimately, it's fine. So I'm still getting it, but maybe I shouldn't be. Lastly, there is World's Finest Teen Titans issue 2, and I think, since I just ran through everything else, I think this is actually getting pick of the week. It's just a really well done sort of teen mental coping stress thing. But it's an adventure book, and we get development on a number of fronts. I mean, this is, I'm going to say, the superior Wade written book of the week. But we get stuff going on with Aqualad, with Bumblebee, with... Donna. It's a Donna heavy book. Malcolm is in this. So where is it? Right there. There's some funny Karen Malcolm stuff going on, like immediately. And there was solicits of something going on between Garth and Donna, and that is certainly set up here. And Karen is more of aware of it than Donna is. And it's just really well done. There's still team drama going on. This issue is kind of in the background as opposed to last issue between Speedy and Robin. It's still great. We get these two showing up as well. I had to wiki them, and I think I've read both, but I couldn't remember either one of them. It's Lilith and... You can see there, well, both their names are right there. But it's Cave Boy, and I can't remember her name. I was just looking it up last night, and I already can't remember. But it's sort of it's a haunted house thing. So it sort of fits in with the Night Terror's general theme. I think it also would have fit in with sort of a Halloween special issue if this were 2 months later. But it's really well done. I hope after the initial 6 issues that this continues in some form, because Wade, I think, is nailing the World's Finest stuff. So that was everything that I got this week. I'm going to run through it again real quick just to make sure. Yes, I'm giving it to World's Finest. Surprise! World's Finest Teen Titans is pick of the week. And there's multiple books in here that are close but just fall a little bit short, and Teen Titans is just really well done at every level. Writing especially, but the art just nails it too. Has that sort of, it's just a clean retro but also creepy. I mean, look at that. It's well done. It's really well done. I get all of my books from a local comic shop. If you don't know where yours is, you can use this URL to find the one closest to you. Thanks for watching.